Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have my 2021 end of the year list. I know I'm pretty late because it's 2022 already. I've been meaning to make this video for a little while, but I've been really busy with music and stuff lately. But anyways, yeah, it's just gonna be top 5 of my favorite. I'm gonna make it just brutal death metal because I didn't really listen to a lot of new releases outside of my niche this year. Obviously I listen to other music than brutal death metal, but as far as the new stuff, that's mostly what I listened to this year. And it's just going to be releases in general. There's actually only one full length on the legitimate list. It's mostly EPs and demos. Anyways, background, we were listening to Flesh Grind with Destined for Defilement, classic. So anyways, first up, we have 3 honorable mentions. First up is the new Cenotaph. I think it's called Precognition to Eradicate. It's out by this band, Flesh Hoarder. Relic of Putrescent Filth, and then the new Pyrexia album, which was better than I thought it would be, Gravitas Maximus. Pretty cool album, so yeah. Anyways, now on to the actual list. So number 5, we have the new Brodekin promo. It was entitled The Perpetuation of Suffering. It was just 2 songs. It was really short, like 5 minutes, which if it were longer, it would have been much higher on this list, but this was a really good promo. It's nice to finally receive some new music from Brodekin, because I'm pretty sure the last thing that they put out prior to this was Methods of Execution, which was over fucking 10 years ago. And this is a really nice promo. It was interesting hearing Brodekin with more clean sort of production, because I'm used to, you know, the more raw, really nasty sound of like their full lengths, but this had some more modern sort of production, so it was cool to hear the riffs with more clarity. Honestly, I know a lot of people would imagine Brodekin with clean production would be like the worst thing ever, but actually hearing the riffs and stuff with, you know, clean production was pretty nice. This is definitely the most like musically tight thing Brodekin has released. Not that they were ever really sloppy, but this one's just a lot more concise sounding. And yeah, I don't really have that much else to say about this. I don't know if I could see myself coming back to this all the time when I want to listen to Brodekin, but it was really nice to finally hear some new music from them after so long, so that's why I have that on this list. Alright, next up on the list we have number 4, which is the new Cerebral Fusion, entitled Ominous Flesh Discipline. Put out their new Standard Elite. Of course, if you don't know who Cerebral Fusion are, really blasty sort of brutal death metal band from Spain. And honestly, they've never really put out anything bad, and this album is no exception. If you're a fan of brutal death metal, then you're going to like this no matter what, honestly. You know, if you're into like that style, like Disgorge and fucking Defeated Sanity, you'll like this. This is probably the second best full length they've put out, honestly. Behind, in my opinion, their best is Impulsive Psychopathic Acts. But business as usual for them, of course, with some really cool production. Cerebral Fusion's their last album they put out, Idolatry of the Unethical, had some really cool production because it's like scooped and nasty sounding, like how brutal death metal should sound, but with modern, digital, like clean sort of production, which is a really nice mix because you don't really get that very often nowadays. A lot of the new Standard Elite bands do this very well, and Cerebral Fusion is no exception. Stylistically, songwriting-wise, it's business as usual for them. Very maze-like sort of song structures, very guttural vocals. Guitar riffs are really technical, with some occasional chugs and stuff in between. The kind of stuff you should come to expect with this style of brutal death metal. And if you're a fan of it, then you'll love it. Like I said, they don't really reinvent the wheel in any sort of way, but if you're a fan of this style, this was a really fucking good album. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this one. It was just a really solid album if you're a fan of that style. So number 4 is Cerebral Fusion with Ominous Flesh Discipline. Coming up next on the list at number 3, we have Reviled with their EP Matriarchal Despoilment. So if you don't know Reviled, brutal death metal band from Texas, there was a lot of really good brutal death metal coming out of Texas this year, honestly. And this is no exception. The first thing I really noticed about this release was the album cover. Such a sick fucking cover, and it's a shame that more bands don't do those like character-based, Cannibal Corpse-y sort of gore covers anymore. I really like this album cover. And the music was also a bit of a return to form as far as like more old-school sounding brutal death metal goes, because it's fast and blasty and technical, but it's not like the over-the-top like Putridity worship style like you get with a lot of the NSC bands, which I do love that style too. But Reviled kind of reminds me a little more of like early 2000s unique leaders, sort of brutal death metal, similar to maybe like Gorgasm, maybe a little bit of mid-2000s stuff too, like I hear a little bit of Guttural Secrete in there. But really cool shit though. The vocals took some getting used to for me. I don't really know why. They're kind of pig squilly, but they're like exhaled. They're just really different sounding though, but I really grew to like them a lot. The drumming, of course, really tight and excellent fucking guitar riffs. Got some great chugs and technical riffs as well. Like I said, it's that blasty style brutal death metal, but it's the more old school sort of variant of it from like the late 90s, early 2000s. And yeah, this was just a really enjoyable release because, well, a lot of the newer brutal death metal bands are trying to push the envelope as far as extremity goes, which that's just as sick too. I have no problem with that. I know a lot of people like to bitch and complain about like, oh, all these new bands just want to be heavier than everybody, but I think that shit is really cool. But Reviled take like a more old school sort of approach to that sort of extremity, which I really like. And yeah, this was just a really enjoyable, solid brutal death metal EP. So number 3, Reviled with Matriarchal Despoilment. Alright, coming in at my number 2 spot, we have Stabbing with Ravenous Psychotic Onslaught. So if you don't know who Stabbing are, they're another brutal death metal band from Texas actually. And this EP has been getting a lot of traction since it came out last month. And for good reason. What this band does is they take the newer, really crazy, extreme sort of style, and it's kind of put into catchier, slightly more memorable songs, which I think is really cool because not a lot of newer bands in brutal death metal do that. Because these guys are just as brutal as any like new standard elite band, but their songwriting is a little better, I would argue, which is why this is getting so much traction. You know, really scooped, nasty sort of production like you would want to get from a newer brutal death metal release. You know, chunky guitar, really clicky sounding drums, ultra guttural fucking vocals. But the riffs and stuff are really memorable and catchy and stick in your head, even though the songs are still maze-like and super fast and chaotic, which is a really impressive thing from a band. And I need to pick up a physical copy of this EP because I was really impressed with this release. Even if you're not huge into brutal death metal, I would recommend listening to this if you're just like a casual fan of the genre. Because yeah, there's some great songs on this release, and I can't wait to see what Stabbing does next. So yeah, number 2, we've got Stabbing with Ravenous Psychotic Onslaught. Alright, now coming in at my number 1 spot, my favorite release this year in brutal death metal, we have Theaterg with their self-titled 2021 demo. Now, I really didn't see anybody talk about this release this year, which I found really disappointing, because this had probably the most energy on any brutal death metal that I heard all year. So this demo was put out through New Standard Elite, and this band is what you would come to expect from a New Standard Elite band, but more. They're just as brutal and fast and chaotic as any of the bands on that label, but they have so much energy, and they're really fucking technical, but they also slam really hard. The vocals are really unique. They're obviously super unintelligible and guttural, but they have a more nasally, like thin, like gargly sort of sound. They sound really ugly, which I really enjoy. The drumming is just fucking insane. There's some really cool, there's only 2 songs on this promo, but I think it's like probably around like 5 minutes long. And like there's some parts where there's just really insane blasts, like these start-stop patterns, and it's just so pummeling to listen to. Just genuinely like violent sounding stuff. Guitar work is super impressive. There's even some slightly little melodic technical guitar lines in there, which don't sound gimmicky at all. Normally with this style you wouldn't want anything like that, but how Theaterg mixes that in with all the chaos is really cool. It just has a very progressive sort of sound to it while still being super energetic and brutal. The slams on this thing like are just so like aggressive sounding and ugly, and I can't wait to see what this band puts out next. I know they put out like a single on a split, which was also really cool. But yeah, this band is just the perfect balance between technical and ultra fast while also being super slammy and just ultra aggressive. Like, I don't know, listening to this promo, it just pumps me up. It's so energetic and fucking ugly sounding. It's everything that I would want from brutal death metal, and then more, because there's just such great musicianship. The bass work, I forgot to mention, is also fantastic. The last song on the promo actually ends with like a really tappy little like bass solo. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, super impressive stuff, and I think this might have been an online band too, because when I checked on the Metallica, like all the members are from different countries. So just really, really impressive stuff. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough. It's a shame I didn't see more people talking about this release. But yeah, number 1 is Theaterg with their 2021 self-titled demo. So yeah, that's it for this video though. I hope you guys enjoyed my list. If there's any like brutal death metal albums that I didn't talk about on here that you thought were really good, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know what you guys' opinions are. yeah, just a small little list. I didn't listen to a shit ton of new releases this year, but these were the ones that I enjoyed the most that I did listen to. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed though. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.